Alright, so in this video, I'm going to show you a few other things. I'm calling them printables, but it's basically a bunch of different things that you can print, okay? So, for one, I will say that my favorite size template to use on Canva is the flyer template right here, because it gives me the perfect size of a piece of printed paper, and then I can just do whatever I want on it. But of course there's other options as well, but for example's sake, let's go ahead and click on this one. Obviously, it's going to start by pulling up a bunch of templates over here. So let me start by showing you a few of the things that I have made so far that are just printables, okay? For Valentine's Day, I made these. They were little hearts that I printed out and I cut out and I stuck to a Twinkie. They looked like a minion, okay? So that was just a quick way for me to print out exactly how many I wanted, the size I needed them to be, the color I wanted them to be, because I could change the color of the heart. All right, so if I click on it, come back, okay? There were a whole bunch of different colored hearts over here that I just got to pick a colored heart. And they were all the same design, and they were already elements that I found. I just typed in candy heart, and it pulled up a whole bunch of candy hearts for me to pick from. I put in the colors, I made them the correct size, and I typed in what I wanted, copied it, duplicated it, printed it out, and cut it out, just like that. Also, let me show you, let me kind of like move these around for a minute, but it has this really cool feature where if you click on these, you can, where's that? Align the elements, okay? So it'll move them for you to how you need them. Also, if they are just like a little bit off and not quite perfectly centered, there should be a tidy up here, the space evenly button, and it will tidy them up for me and perfectly space them out across the bottom and across the top, okay? So that's not how I needed them at the moment, but it would have fixed them for me how I needed them, okay? Also, I made these raffle tickets for my students. They're incentive tickets. I used, if we look back at this one, I used this template actually, and I duplicated the pages, and I changed the colors of them to all match, and then I typed what I wanted, duplicated it, and I printed them all out like this, and I cut them apart, and now I have raffle tickets. So just like that. That was an easy little a little thing that I could make on Canva and print out. And I'm not really sure what else I would have been able to make them on so easily, because Google Docs is kind of finicky with spacing and stuff. Here's another thing I've done. These are requests to retry sheets. So I took a flyer piece of paper and I typed it out so that it would fit into half of a piece of paper, and then I duplicated it, printed it out, and sliced them in half, and now I have exactly what I needed right there like that. This is a class list I made on here. I used tons and tons of elements over here. I literally typed in, I think, Groovy School to get all of these little elements that it put on there for me. And as a Canva, or as an educator, I have a free educator account, and I could get all of these for free, okay? These were some passes that we made to put in stockings for our students. I've actually reused this template many times. I used it at the beginning of the school year for parent-teacher conferences, and it had typed in like what they needed to do, and I paper clipped it to all of their papers for each kid, and then I just duplicated the template and I turned it into this later on. And I did it again for another thing. I don't remember what the other one was, but I just keep duplicating it because it's a really good shape. I also had a colored version that I used that had suckers with them for the kids coming to parent-teacher conferences. Okay, and this one's a different size, but I wanted to show this one to you as well. My students did an activity where they were making a presentation on an endangered animal. I had a sub that day, I wasn't there, so I made this little printout for them that told them what I expected. I thought it was just a cooler way of giving them the directions, especially since I wasn't there to explain it. So I did this, and it tells me I have across it on banners to use creativity. I have the requirements of what they needed to do. And then over on, I had another paper that I printed out that had all of the options they could pick from. So I had a long list of options they could pick from. And again, I printed it out. And any of this could also be put onto a Google Classroom. So let's head back over here. I'm going to go back because I don't want that one on there right now. I'm going to look up a border so I can have all kinds of borders. I like to click graphics. It usually gives me the best options. So let's see, we can put like this up here. And then let's add a title. Let's say there's also tons and tons of fonts to pick from. My personal favorite is this Lucky Bones one. It really fits with my whole groovy theme, but there are tons of fonts. So let me go ahead, say, let's say I'm making a welcome sign. Welcome to our class. So there's that. What else can I add? I'm going to go back to the groovy school. I'm going to add this bus down in the corner. So I also could add, there are animations which would be cool, but since I'm printing it out, that doesn't really matter for this, but I am going to go ahead and let's see, maybe add something to my text to kind of make it pop a little bit. Okay, and then if I were to pick this drop shadow version, I could also change the color of the shadow. All right. So that's a little bit on creating a printable. So I gave you some examples of what I did, and I showed you how to make a little bit of them, okay? So again, lots of different things you can do to just have something to quickly print out for your students.